Welcome to the Chicagoland Motor Speedway for the first round in the playoffs of the Coast to Coast iRacing League season number 1. We are here to start off the playoffs with a race of 112 laps here at Chicagoland, Joliet, Illinois. And let's go and take a quick look here at the bracket as we have started the playoffs here. The first round of playoffs will be consisting of this race here in Chicago and then the next race next week at Bristol. The first 12 drivers that you see on your screen there are the ones that have qualified for a spot in the playoffs. Blake Powers, Brian Rose, Dalton Hayes, Hank Caston, J.D. Woodward, Ken MacArthur, Kevin Woods, Michael Edwards, Robbie Helms, Sean Retallick, Steve Anderson, and last but not least, Tanner Nowell. So, after those first two rounds, we're going to lose 4 of them, and that will be decided either by points or by wins. Anybody in these 12 playoff drivers that scores a win here in Chicago or in Bristol will automatically qualify for round number 2 of the playoffs, which will be run in Rockingham and North Wilkesboro. The other spots will be filled on points. Then, the same is true for the final. Anybody that wins in Rockingham or North Wilkesboro automatically qualifies to be in the final 4 in the final race at Charlotte for the championship. The other 2 spots will once again be filled on points. And in the final, the highest placing playoffs driver is the one that claims the championship. So that is what is at stake starting tonight here in Chicago. That is your playoffs for the first season of the Coast to Coast iRacing series. So tonight we are in Chicago for round number 1. And we are still looking at practice currently. We are looking at the final, let's say, minute and a half or so in practice. We have Hank Caston on track here, one of your favorites. And let us know who your favorite is on the chat on the YouTube channel. We would love to hear from you. Sean Retallick here in the number 10 car. And we have Carl Eck in the 81 car. Let's see who else is out there. That is pretty much it on the track right now. The number 21 of Michael Edwards is out there as well. And I don't believe we have seen Brian Rose just yet. And as you can tell, it's Michael Edwards, one of the playoff drivers that has currently run the quickest lap here in practice, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here in qualifying. We have 14 drivers entered the race here tonight at Chicagoland. 30 seconds left in practice. Most drivers not on the track anymore. As you can tell, quite a few of them are on pit road here trying to get ready for the qualifying session. And we have one car that I would like to point out to you. Let me see if I can find him real quick. The number 17 car that you see there is actually the number 8 that you will see on scoring. He is running in a paint scheme with number 17. That is Cody Brown. And Cody is not one of your playoff drivers, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the guys can still be working for points in the final standings, obviously. Qualifying is started. The first guy out on the track looks to be like Steve Anderson. Ken MacArthur is also out on track. Michael Edwards and Tanner Nowell. Brian Edmonds in the 28 car, one of our regulars. Brian Edmonds unfortunately did not qualify for the playoffs. But we know he is a regular in this series, and he's always doing his best. Ken MacArthur, the number 97 car. And we'll wait for the first few times to be posted. Drivers have 2 laps to qualify. Individual qualifying as is usual with NASCAR style racing. That means that the drivers are on the track by themselves. We can pick up anybody that is out there. And it looks like Brian Edmonds was the first one to post a time in the 28 car, already being surpassed by Michael Edwards there in the 21 car. Edmonds hanging on to second currently. It's Steve Anderson in the 99 car that is in fourth. Ken MacArthur in the number 97 car that is currently in fifth. And Tanner Nowell currently in the, Ken MacArthur is in fourth. Excuse me. And there we have Steve Anderson that was trying to post a quicker time there. And it's now Ken MacArthur that brings it up to the pole, the provisional pole here with a 30.151. In front of Michael Edwards and Steve Anderson in third. It looks like Steve did run a quicker lap on his second lap there, but not good enough to keep Ken MacArthur from getting the pole. Robbie Helms here still going at it on his second lap currently in the number 18 car. Currently in sixth position, but trying hard to improve his time, going underneath the white line here. And he does improve his time. He works his way up to fourth position there. Nick Hammer currently in seventh position, also still on his second time lap. There we have him, and also an improvement, and that puts him on the provisional pole currently. Hank Gaston out on track. Not yet posted a time. And it'll be interesting to see where Hank is going to come out here. One of the top drivers in this league. And it looks like that apron is working for them. The banking is not all that steep on the main straightaway, so the transition from the apron to the track is really not too much of a problem. It doesn't seem so. Hank Gaston currently putting in a 30.47, and that is not good enough for a top spot. He is currently in the 9th position, and it might be that the tires just need a little bit more warming up before he can get his final run in there. There we go. Hank Gaston jumps to the pole position with a 30.1 or a 30.099. Quickest lap of the qualifying session. Cody Brown currently on his first lap puts it on the 10th spot. It looks like the second laps for most of the guys are quicker than the first ones. And that obviously has to do with the fuel burning off and the tires warming up. Cody staying above the white line here, and his second lap time is a 30.264, a little bit of an improvement, and it puts him up into 8th position. And there he kills it, rolling it back towards pit lane. All right, let's bring up a little bit of information about the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. It is currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit. We have a relative humidity of 53%. It's a partly cloudy sky, and there is no wind to speak of. Track temperature looks like it is 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That makes for a fairly hot track, and that means that the track could be a little bit slippery compared to a cooler track. And the track is actually a 1.5 mile D-shaped oval, and as you can see from the track map, the backstretch is really not straight, and there is really, it's difficult to find a straight part on this track. It's a little bit of an odd-shaped D oval. It looks a bit like an egg, really. Drivers will have 70% fuel capacity limit, which means that they would be stopping for fuel a little bit more often than in real life, obviously. The drivers are using a fixed setup, meaning that they cannot change the car except for the brake bias and the steering ratio. We have one fast repair at our disposal, which means that any damage to the car's bodywork, suspension, and whatnot will be instantly repaired on their first pit stop if they choose to do so. They can do so whenever they want, but they have one limit on fast. There's a limit of one fast repair, and that fast repair does not include the time that is needed to change tires and fuel up the car. So it's only the fast repair is only limited to the repairs of a damaged vehicle. And that is pretty much the information we have for you. The pit lane speed limit is 50 miles an hour. Top speeds on this track look like they're going to be right around 180 miles an hour. And that means that going into the pits under green could be a little bit tricky, obviously. And that is about the information that we have for you here tonight. We have another just under 3 minutes to go in the qualifying session. Nobody is out on track. We have 10 drivers that posted a time. You can see them on the left side of your screen. Hank Aston is on the provisional pole. And then it's Nick Hammer, Ken MacArthur, Michael Edwards, Steve Anderson, Robbie Helms, Brian Edmonds, Cody Brown, Tanner Nowell, and Sean Retallick. And it looks like DG Swiss is coming out on track to try and get a qualifying time in. And he's running the mellow yellow paint scheme made famous by the Tom Cruise movie Days of Thunder. If you haven't watched it, you should. We'll keep an eye here on DG Swiss and see where he's going to put that number 26 car. And let's go see what his first lap is going to be like. A 30-second, 30.547. That is currently the 11th time. And once again, it looks like that first lap is just not really getting guys up to speed just yet. It takes the second lap for them to really get into the groove of things and get that car up to speed, it looks like. We have Dalton Hayes trying to get ready to go out. His paint scheme still loading. We'll keep an eye on that. And DG Swiss has improved on his lap time by about 0.3 of a second there. And he pushes himself into the 8th position. And that means that we have 11 drivers that have posted a time. And Carl Eck, Dalton Hayes, and J.D. Woodward have not yet been out on the track. We can see if we can find. There's J.D. Woodward. He's going to have to hurry. We have about 30 seconds left in qualifying, and there is not going to be any added time on that. So J.D. is going to have to keep it going there. Hopefully his first lap will be a decent one. I doubt that he's going to make it, actually. For 3 seconds, that'll be it for J.D. Woodward. He will not be able to post the qualifying time. All right, folks, let's go and take a look at the grid for this race here in Chicagoland, Joliet, Illinois. Hank Aston is on the pole position. And it looks like we have Nick Hammer on his outside on the first row there. On the second row we have Ken MacArthur and Michael Edwards. On the third row it's Steve Anderson and Robbie Helms on the outside. Then on the fourth row it is Brian Edmonds and DG Swiss in the number 26 car there. The fifth row is for Cody Brown and Tanner Nowell. The sixth row will be for Sean Retallick and JD Woodworth. And the final row will be Dalton Hayes in the 47 car and Carl Eck in the number 81 car. There you have it. The deck is shuffled for tonight's race. We have 14 cars that have entered the race, and we are still waiting for Carl Eck to come on to the track. And it looks like the software that loads the panes is a little bit slow today for Dalton Hayes' car, number 47. Hopefully those colors will be sprayed on there pretty quickly. And once again, we are missing Carl Eck at the start currently. If he is not here on time, that means he's going to have to start out of the pit lane if he can get it going at all. We are also missing Brian Rose, one of your qualified playoffs drivers. And I think we are also missing Kevin Woods, one of the qualified drivers. And there we're rolling out, getting ready to get this playoff round number 1 on the way. And as you can tell, the guys are checking up here. Field is nicely formed side by side, ready to get going at Chicagoland Motor Speedway. The first round of the playoffs of the Coast to Coast Racing Series is on the way. It looks like Nick Hammer and Hank Caston are side by side equally fast off the line there. Nick Hammer on the outside, and it looks like Ken MacArthur is right there behind him, sticking that nose in there, and the inside line works best for Hank Caston. It is Hank Caston in the lead with Ken MacArthur in second. Nick Hammer is in third on that outside there in the number 11 car. Then the number 21 of Michael Edwards coming behind the leader and picking up that second spot again. The 28 of Brian Edmonds going underneath the white line there on the main straightaway. Ken MacArthur challenging for the lead there. Hank Caston shown in third position. It is actually Ken MacArthur in the 97 that had the lead there for a little bit. Mike Edwards now picks it up. It looks like that outside line on the turns is really not working all that well. We see the number 11 of Nick Hammer coming in there as well, trying to make a difference. Now it's Hank Caston back in second position. Inside line seems to be working pretty good. The higher side seems to be a little bit slower, and that might be because the track is not at all rubbered in just yet. So hopefully it'll come in a little bit better. Michael Edwards in the lead here now, taking a 0.3 of a second lead over Hank Caston in second position, Nick Hammer in third, Ken MacArthur in fourth, and Steve Anderson now in fifth. DG Swiss in sixth, Robbie Helms in seventh, Tanner Nowell, Brian Edmonds, Sean Retallick, JD Woodward, Dalton Hayes, Cody Brown, and it looks like Carl Eck has not started. It's Cody Brown there, the final running car in 13th position. And we see Nick Hammer challenging Hank Caston there for second position, taking it to the inside in the number 05 car. I'm sorry, that is Nick Hammer in the 11 car. And it looks like Hank has got a little bit more momentum coming off the turn on the higher side. Ooh, we saw Steve Anderson, Tanner Nowell there having a bit of a swing to the inside to avoid trouble, it looked like. The field is still closely matched up, and they're going to have to try and catch that draft of anybody that's in front of him if they don't want to see those gaps growing. And it looks like Tanner Nowell is understanding that perfectly well. He's trying to stay behind the 18th of Robbie Helms, trying to fill that gap back in, and he's bringing Edmonds with him in doing so. Edmonds coming to the inside. And meanwhile, up front, it's Michael Edwards that has about a second of a lead on Hank Caston and Nick Hammer there. Ken MacArthur now in fourth position, Steve Anderson in fifth. There you have Anderson in the 99 car, Robbie Helms in the 18, and Tanner Nowell has closed that gap completely. They have locked back in. The entire field is still in one big group here, except for Michael Edwards in the lead by about 1.7 seconds. He is running quite a bit faster, actually, than everybody else. There you can see it. He's pretty much clear. Hank Caston is hanging on in second, with Nick Hammer right behind him. And it's the 99 of Steve Anderson there in fifth place. We see Brian Edwards going down below the white line again, obviously trying to gain a little bit of distance there. And even though the banking isn't, we have an issue going on. It's going wrong here for the 99. And that looked to me like that was DG Swiss involved there as well. Let's bring that back for you. That is actually... It looks like it's the 97. It's the 97 that hits the wall first. Take a look at the 97 here. He runs a little bit high. He can't keep it off the wall. He bounces off, takes the 99 with him. And then they take the 18 of Robbie Helms with him as well. And it looks like the 28 is doing a really good job of avoiding the trouble. Let's go back at that again. Yeah, he slowed down significantly, and he is staying away from these guys. So very unfortunate for Robbie Helms there. He was a victim there. We see everybody going into the pits for their first pit stop. Lap number 10, Michael Edwards, Hank Caston, Nick Hammer, Tanner Nowell. You can see it on your left side of your screen. Pretty much everybody is coming in for their tires and to top off the fuel tank. As said, the fuel is limited to 70% capacity in this race. And I'm fairly sure that they could run probably 35, 40 laps on a tank of fuel. But obviously, fresh tires under yellow is always a good idea, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. The entire pit lane is completely filled up. There you see it, Hank Caston and Michael Edwards coming off pit road. And everybody following suit, and it looks like some of them have some repairs to do. Let's check on Ken MacArthur As said, they have one fast repair, so hopefully they know when to use it. It wouldn't be the first time that somebody would not think about it. Unfortunately, that happens as well. It is Hank Caston picking up the lead from pit lane. That means he did a little bit better on his pit stop than Michael Edwards. Michael in second place, Nick Hammer in third, Tanner Nowell in fourth, Sean Retallick in fifth, J.D. Woodward, then it's Gigi Swiss, Dalton Hayes, Cody Brown. Looks like Cody made up some positions. He was running in 13th the last time we checked on him. Robbie Helms obviously had that car fixed up. That looks to me like he took that fast repair. Brian Edmonds in 11th. Ken MacArthur is back out again. And it looks like Steve Anderson is still on pit road. He may have taken a tow, and that is why it would take a little bit longer before he will get going. He should have that fast repair as well. Although that car looks pretty bad, it should be repaired instantly as soon as that tow is calculated to be done. The tow means that the driver, when he is on track, he hits the escape button, and then iRacing will calculate time for him to be towed into his pit. And obviously he'll be sitting there for a while waiting for that time to expire before any repairs can be done. And we'll have to wait and see, because it looks like there's not a whole bunch of activity going on there, but we'll wait and see and keep an eye on him. Unfortunately, he'll be going down. He'll be going down a lap, and it looks like Ken MacArthur is bringing it back in. And it doesn't look like he needs more repairs. He just might be thinking about topping it off. There you have him. Not sure what the deal is. He's not taking new tires, so I'm guessing it's just for fuel. And he doesn't want to stay out there too long. He wants to make sure he gets back going before the cars reach turn number 3 and 4, because I'm fairly sure they'll be getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Well, not quite. The lights on the pace car are still on, so that means that Ken will be okay waiting until they get to turn 4, I suppose. As long as he can stay ahead of him and the pit lane exit won't be closed, he will be okay. It looks like he does have some repairs that needed to be done. And the Steve Anderson's car is still sitting idle on pit road. He may have decided to call it a race. Steve Anderson is one of your playoff drivers. And the guys are lining them up now. Hank Caston on your inside there on the pole position. Michael Edwards in the second position. Lap number 14 of 112. We're ready to go back to racing. And in the background, you see that Ken MacArthur has caught up with the field there. The pace car will be going in. There we go. And it'll be up to Hank to get this show back on the road. Steve Anderson is still in the pits. Hank Caston has a good start here. A little bit of a jump on Michael Edwards in the 21 car. Nick Hammer is hanging with the 21 there on the inside. Looks like he might be going for that second position. There we go. The higher side just still doesn't seem to be as fast as the bottom. But Edwards is still on the outside there, hanging on to that third spot. Ooh, the number 10 of Sean Retallick there on the inside. It's Tanner Nowell now in fourth position, with Retallick going down to the bottom there on the apron. DG Swiss is there with him. And it looks like Nick Hammer has picked up that leading position right in front of Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards now going to the inside on the backstretch, challenging Hammer for the lead, coming to his inside. And although Nick Hammer does have good momentum coming off the turn, it is Michael Edwards that has it on the line. And he picks up the lead, and it's now DG Swiss in the 26 car that shoves into second position past Nick Hammer. Still caught there on the outside in the number 11 car. It's Hank Caston in fourth. And Dalton Hayes is picking up some positions here as well in the 47 car. He is slotting himself into the third spot now, right in front of Nick Hammer. Hank Caston in fifth. Tanner Nowell here in the Mobil 1 car in sixth position, with Sean Retallick to his outside in the number 10. Sean Retallick staying to his outside there, nosing ahead of Tanner. And it looks like Tanner had to get off the gas there a little bit. The number 10 now challenging the 11 of Nick Hammer, and that is for fifth position. It looks like Sean is making that higher line work quite a bit better. Gets good momentum off the turns there. This is the backstretch. As you can see, it's not completely straight. The number 10 of Retallick now slotting into fifth position. Hammer going down on the apron. And it looks like Sean is already making up some of that lost ground on Caston and the leaders there. Michael Edwards currently still in front, with Swiss now hanging on to him. Very good. Only a car length between him here. Dalton Hayes into 47. He's your number 3 driver here currently. And they're looking to draft each other. It looks to me like Hank Caston is having a little bit more trouble keeping up. And then again, he could also be thinking that it's still a long ways to go. As long as he can stay in touch with that group, he should be okay for later in the race. And I'm sure we'll have more yellows that'll bring him back together again. Swiss now challenging Edwards on the outside. Hayes going on the apron, as you can see. Back up again. The number 26 there, right behind the 21 of Edwards. Hank Caston catching back up with the 47 of Dalton Hayes. And it looks like Steve Anderson has been driving. And he's back in pit road. See if we can... he did not get that car repaired at all. He has a fast repair. That's kind of weird. He's bringing him back on pit road. Let's see if he gets that car repaired. There you go. Now he knows to use it. A little late, but hey, better late than never. He's got it back fixed up again, and unfortunately he is already 11 laps behind. He may have had a connection issue there as well. That wouldn't surprise me. He's been in the pit that long. There he comes back out. You saw him there at the bottom of your screen. And it's DG Swisser now that's still chasing down Michael Edwards. That is the fight for the lead there, with Edwards staying low, trying to take away that draft from the 26. Hank Caston has picked up third position. Looks like Dalton Hayes is dropping back a little bit now. It's Sean Retallick and Nick Hammer going underneath him. And basically pushing him back to the 5th spot. And it looks like Tanner Nowell and Robbie Helms are having trouble keeping up with the main group there. They're together there. What they should try to do is work together and see if they can close that gap. And meanwhile, it's Edwards, and now Hank Caston has taken over that 2nd position. Let's see if we can bring that back for you. There we go. But it's Hank Caston on the backstretch going underneath the 26 to pick up that 2nd position. And now he's challenging for the lead, going to the inside of Edwards. Edwards is trying to pinch him down a little bit. It looks like Hank Caston has decided he's waited long enough. He just wants to get ahead and get this over with. There he slots into the lead, taking away that 1st position from the 21 car of Michael Edwards. Lap number 27. The top 3 cars there right close together. Caston, Edwards, and Swiss. And it's about a second going further down the track. Then we see Sean Retallick and Dalton Hayes, Nick Hammer, and Robbie Helms. The 99 car, that is Steve Anderson. He's running strongly now. Unfortunately, he is quite a ways behind. 12 laps lost. Not sure of what exactly was the problem there, but he may have had a connection issue. And it's still Caston in front. Michael Edwards in 2nd and DG Swiss. It looks like the distances are slowly growing a little bit. Hank Caston currently pulling away by about half a second there. Michael Edwards hanging on there to 2nd position. And it looks like Mike is trying to run a little bit tighter line around the track to force DG Swiss to go around. Now he leaves the door open and the 26 comes underneath him. But he's got better momentum on that higher side. It might be that that higher side is coming in a little bit as the track rubbers in. It looks like the 99 of Anderson is right there behind him. And obviously he's 12 laps behind, but coming fresh out of the pits, he looks like he's a little bit quicker than the leaders. Edwards on the outside, not ready to give up that position just yet. And now Anderson coming underneath him as well. Trying to at least. Obviously, Anderson has a long road ahead of him to try and get back on the lead lap, but you can't blame a guy for trying. Michael Edwards now slotting in behind that 99 car. And it looks like he's got Sean Retallick to start worrying about here as well. Sean is definitely gaining on the 21 car there. Coming to the inside, not close enough. Let's ride along with Sean here. You see Edwards going on the apron there. Into turn 1. And you can see that Edwards is trying to stay as low as he can keep it. Kind of makes me think he wants to force anybody that's behind him to go around and take the long way. He's trying to catch the draft of that 26 car in front of him. There you have him, Sean Retallick in the number 10 car, right behind the 21, trying to get into the draft, all three of them. Hank Caston, meanwhile, is extending his lead by quite a margin. He's almost 3 seconds ahead of DG Swiss. So the guys here in second, third, and fourth, they are close together. And they're looking at over 3 seconds of a deficit towards Hank Caston. The 10 now coming underneath the 21. That looks like Sean Retallick is going to pick up third position. Nick Hammer also closing in on these guys. They may have asked a little bit too much of their tires there in the beginning, and they're paying for it now. Long green flag racing stints are always about tire management. And it looks like the 21 of Edwards is, we have a caution. That might be the moment a lot of them were waiting for to get new tires. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. Can't really tell what happened. Well, I can't find what happened. The only thing I see here is that the 14 of Tanner Nowell is scuffing the wall a little bit, but I can't imagine iRacing throwing a yellow for that. And there you have it, everybody coming into the pits. Everybody happy that they have an ability to get new tires. And the only one staying out currently is Steve Anderson. He cannot pit until the next lap. And that means he also gets the wave around. That gives him back a little bit of what he lost. 10 laps behind the leader now. Hank Caston coming back out in the leading position with Swiss now in second and Edwards in third. Retallick, Nick Hammer, J.D. Woodward in the number 9 car now in 6th position, and Cody Brown in the 17 car, he's in 7th. Robbie Helms coming back out, Brian Edmonds, Dalton Hayes. It looks to me like Woodward's doing some good work here together with Cody Brown. JD has moved up 6 positions since the start of the race. So he looks to be in pretty good shape. Tanner Nowell coming back out. Not sure if that car is has used his fast repair. We'll have to check the other side here momentarily. See if he comes around here, if we can tell. And meanwhile, it's Steve Anderson also going into the pits. So Hank Gaston and the number 36 car, obviously also one of the playoff drivers. If he would be able to win this thing, he would lock himself into round number 2 already. And the same is true. Let's see, DG Swiss is not qualified in the playoffs, so he's just running for regular points. And let's see, Michael Edwards obviously has been locked into the playoffs. So Caston and Edwards obviously looking to lock themselves in already. Sean Retallick is also in the playoffs. Nick Hammer is not. He is also just running for regular points. Woodward is locked in. And Cody Brown is also one of the non-playoff drivers. Robbie Helms is in the playoffs in the 18 car there. And Brian Edmonds is not in the playoffs. Dalton Hayes is. Dropped back to 10th position now. MacArthur there in the 97. He is one of the playoff drivers, and so is Tanner Nowell. And Steve Anderson is also, but like I said, he's got a bit of a hill to climb here tonight. Getting ready back again, once again, to line them up here. And it looks like Woodward is almost running into the back of Retallick there, trying to get an early start, but he tried to anticipate the start there, but was a little bit too eager, I believe. Caston has a good start, pulls away from Swiss and Edwards. It's Retallick and Nikehammer. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle going on there. Michael Edwards having a bit of a problem, dropping back to 7th position. Let's see if we can bring that back real quick. He does have some sort of issue here. Yeah, he gets a little sideways. 2 wheels under that white line in the turn. He has to get off the gas. That's unfortunate for him. It looks like he's in 7th position now and back into the groove, hanging on there right behind Cody Brown. Caston in front, the number 9 of Woodward worked his way back up to the 2nd position there. And it looks like JD is getting ready to challenge Hank. Already putting that nose alongside the 36 into turn 1. Edwards picking up some speed, running the quickest lap of the race so far. Already bringing himself back into 5th position. Look at the battle for the lead here, side by side, 5 cars. It's Hank Caston hanging on with J.D. Woodward on the outside, Nick Hammer in the red and black car, then it's Edwards behind Hammer, and on the outside there it is DG Swiss. Once again, JD challenging for the lead. Now it's Hammer also trying to get underneath there, but he's not yet close enough. It's Swiss on the outside. Edwards coming to the inside now. 3 wide. Are they making it 3 wide? Nah, not quite. The 21 is not close enough. Slotting in there behind the 26, trying to catch that draft. It looks like Cody Brown is also coming closer in the number 8 car with Brian Edmonds. And Sean Retallick now on the inside in the 10. Hank Gaston still in the lead with JD right behind him. Michael Edwards back in 3rd. Swiss in 4th position. Sean Retallick right behind him. And then Brian Edmonds doing a really good job there in 6th position. Nick Hammer right behind him. Retallick on the inside of Swiss has taken over 4th position. The 28 of Brian Edmonds coming underneath Swiss as well, and so does Nick Hammer. It looks like Swiss is having trouble on that outside line. He's dropping back a little bit further. It looks like Tanner Nowell is also coming to him. Tanner also going to the inside there. And it doesn't look like Swiss has the momentum on that higher side that he's looking for, but there's not enough room for him to come down. Now he's slotting in right behind Edmonds. I'm sorry, that was not Swiss. Swiss is now slotting in right behind Tanner Nowell, and he's already got 18, the 18 of Robbie Helms behind him there as well. Sean Retallick seems to be catching up with the leaders. And once again, it is all about tire management on these longer stints. And you never know how long you're going to have to go, obviously. And I do believe that Hank Gaston is trying to pace himself as good as he can, trying to stay in the lead, obviously, but he doesn't want to run away from him if it's not necessary. J.D. Woodworth right behind him. And Michael Edwards is starting to get a little racy with the number 9 there. Retallick is definitely right there with him now. He closed that gap, and it looks like Nick Hammer is working hard on doing the same. Brian Edmonds in 6th position. And that's what it looks like from the back end of Hank's car. That is J.D. Woodward you're looking at. And right behind him you see Michael Edwards and Sean Retallick. And behind Retallick, it's Nick Hammer. And it looks like Gaston and Woodward are pulling away from Edwards and his buddies there a little bit. About a half a second now. Michael Edwards in 3rd. Gaston and Woodward walking away from him a little bit. 0.8 of a second. Sean Retallick and Nick Hammer keeping up with Edwards. Looks like Hammer had a moment there. And he's definitely getting a little bit racier with these guys. Trying to get to the inside of Retallick now. And he's definitely got that car on the inside line there. Retallick seems to be the only one so far that I can notice that has good momentum on that high side. Trying to pinch the 11 down a little bit. Nick is picking up 4th position here. But Sean has not quite given up. And now he slots into fourth. And DG Swiss is about 8/10 of a second behind Retallick, with Robbie Helms 3-4 car lengths behind him. Dalton Hayes, Brian Edmonds, and Cody Brown are duking it out for ninth here. Looks like Cody Brown saved his tires a little bit longer than Brian, and he is coming to the inside to pick up that ninth position. Tanner Nowell in 11th. Not sure what his problem is, but it might be that the bodywork damage on that right-hand side is costing him a little bit of top speed. Ken MacArthur in 12th, 6 seconds behind Tanner, and Steve Anderson is still running somewhere in there. He is still 10 laps behind. He needs yellows to get these wave arounds. Caston still in the lead, half a second ahead of J.D. Woodward. Nick Hammer in third. Sean Retallick and Michael Edwards back at it again. Retallick picking up that fourth position now. Oh, it looks like Edwards is getting a little bit loose off those turns there, but he does keep it in the right line. Swiss is right behind him as well. And Edwards seems to be hanging on to that fourth place now for now. Swiss is coming to the outside of Retallick and picks up fifth. Robbie Helms is keep catching up with these guys. There you have him in the number 18 car. Edwards now pulling away a little bit. Looking off the car of DG Swiss, that's Mike. That is Sean Retallick right behind us, and Robbie Helms behind Retallick. Looks like Retallick is getting that draft nice and good there. And then in the turns, he runs a little bit higher than the 26 car. And you can see up front the lap times between Caston and Woodward are looking like Woodward is slowly but surely losing a little bit of ground. Here he is in the number 9. Nick Hammer is trying hard to close that gap. Lap 64 of 112. We're a little bit over halfway here. Edwards and Swiss back at it again. Retallick now behind Swiss. And it looks like Edwards is washing up a little bit. That gives Swiss the opportunity to pick up fourth position. Robbie Helms right there with these guys, coming to the outside of the 10 now. And behind Helms, you see the 99 of Steve Anderson. That is not for position. But Steve Anderson's doing a very good job. Once he got that car repaired, it looks like he's got good speed. And Nick Hammer does indeed seem to be closing in on J.D. Woodward. Oh, yeah, he's definitely gaining. Swiss and Edwards. And there you see Nick Hammer catching up to J.D. Woodward, now definitely catching that draft. Last few laps, he has been 3/4 of a second quicker than J.D. Going after second place here. There he comes to the inside. Oh, has to get off the gas there a little bit. JD hanging on for now. And as always, catching up is one thing, going by there is another. Because all of a sudden, when you're passing somebody, you're catching all that wind yourself. There we have it. Nick Hammer slots right past J.D. Woodward for second position. Obviously, tires are becoming a factor once again. It's been a while since our last pit stop. Some 30 laps, 32. JD's not giving up, though. He stays right behind Nick. Obviously, then being behind the 11 car, that gives him the draft, obviously, that he didn't have before. And it looks like JD wanted to stay in that draft, but kind of thinks the better of going on that apron. Not all the drivers like that. That transition can throw you off. I will say JD is doing a very good job hanging on there. Caston is about 3.5 seconds ahead of him. Let's ride along with JD here. I'm sorry that we're on. This is JD. Oh, there you have him. He brings it to the inside. And he gets his second position right back, but then washes up a little bit. Nick Hammer right behind there. And it looks like DG Swiss has put some distance between him and Sean Retallick. Sean Retallick has also been passed by Steve Anderson in the 99 car. That is not for position. Sean is still in 5th. Robbie Helms is hanging on to 6th there, and he's getting some work from Cody Brown in the 17. Michael Edwards in 8th now. I'm sure Michael is hoping for a yellow to get some new tires. Ooh, there you see him having a bit of a wiggle. He doesn't feel all that happy in that car, I don't think. Right behind him, it's Dalton Hayes, Tanner Nowell, Brian Edmonds in 11th, Ken MacArthur in 12th. Let's check on Hank Caston here for just a little bit. 4.8 seconds ahead. J.D. Woodworth is still ahead of Nick Hammer. They're still together here, second and third. Nick Hammer is doing a very, very good job keeping this close. Looks like these guys are pretty evenly matched, both running 32.1s, and they're currently only a tenth of a second slower than Hank Caston, who is still running a little bit quicker. Caston now, oh, we have a yellow. Let's go find out what has gone on. And once again, it might be a race admin induced yellow there, because I don't see anything happening on track. Yeah, I don't believe anything serious happened. But it'll bunch them back up, and it'll give them all an opportunity to get some tires and fuel. And I'm fairly sure that they're throwing the yellows at the end of their stages right now. That is what is going on. Everybody back into the pits. Obviously, everybody ready for new rubber and for some fuel. Now, obviously, Woodward will be rolling out first, but can he beat Hank Caston out? No, he can't. It was pretty close there, but Hank Caston is back out in front once again. Hammer in third. Retallick in fourth, Robbie Helms in fifth now. Brian Edmonds doing a good job here on the pit stops. May have been that he just took right side tires only. He pushes himself back up into sixth position. Steve Anderson now in the pits. Obviously, he's a lap down. He's gotten 1 lap back because of the wave around. So now he is on 9 laps down. Tanner Nowell now in 8th. Cody Brown here in the 17 in 9th position. And Michael Edwards is in 12th. And he's trying to feel that car and see if there's something wrong with it. He's kind of surprised me that he dropped back quite a ways. I mean, he was doing very, very good there in the beginning. ran very strong for the first half of the race. And now it seems like he's just not happy with that car. And once again, bringing it in pit road. Getting new tires. And he's back out again, still on the lead lap. Doesn't have to worry about going down just yet. That kind of makes you wonder what his problem with the car is. I don't see any damage. And most improved driver is still J.D. Woodward. He's gained 10 positions since the start of the race and currently fighting for the lead. Both Caston and Woodward both Caston and Woodward are in the playoffs. Nick Hammer is not. So Caston and Woodward would both like to lock themselves into that next round, obviously. Ooh, we have a chain reaction there with Woodward having some sort of issue there. That could be a hardware issue with his pedals or wheel. Suddenly slowing down there. Looks like we have damage on the back end of that car now. That's not going to help him. Retallick behind there. He's got quite a bit of damage, front and rear.
Hang on, we're not going
and Brian Edmonds also having some issues. Not as bad as the guys in front of him. And they're extending the yellow. I'm fairly sure that was something JD couldn't really help. May have been a hardware issue with his pedals. Stuff happens. See if they can go to the pit and get that stuff fixed there. Don't see anybody coming in. That's bad news for Sean Retallick and Brian Edmonds. And obviously also for JD himself. That rear end damage may not look like that much, but it's definitely going to create drag. And there it goes again. It happens again. He's got some sort of issue. Or maybe they're sending him to the end of the longest line. That could also be the case.
Hang on, we're not going
That's probably what it is. Nope. Well, this is awkward.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
And as you can hear, race control is deciding to keep it yellow, but it is a little confusing here what's going on. It's definitely something that slowed JD down that I think would be a hardware issue. That would be the most obvious reason for that. Nobody is going into the pits except for the 47, but I don't believe he was involved in the issues there. They're extending the yellow. Obviously, Sean Retallick wants to pit. And so does Brian Edmonds. They want to get those cars fixed back up. And let's see if they can. And it looks like everybody's going into the pit. Hopefully Sean still has a faster pair.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
Well, I don't believe he has a faster pair. He's used it. He's getting tires, but the damage is still there, and that means that if they're going to have to repair it, it's going to take a while. Let's check on Brian. It doesn't look like he still had that faster pair either. And it looked like Cody. Well, I'm not sure if he was involved or not. Who was the other guy? Alright, so now we're mixing stuff up here because it looks like Tanner stayed out. Tanner Nowell is now your leader. And Michael Edwards suddenly finds himself back in second position. Hopefully he's got his issues sorted out. Dalton Hayes is in third. JD with the crippled car. He did not pit with it. He stayed out. He may not have that faster pair anymore, so he's kind of figuring, well, I got to deal with what I got. Well, maybe he is changing his mind here. I'm not sure what's going on. There might be something bigger going on.
Not going green. Not going green.
What is going on with JD? Well, it doesn't look good for JD there. The engine is running. Now he's rolling again. I guess it could be his shifter. Well, I will say that mixes up things significantly here. Tanner Nowell now leading, Michael Edwards in second, Dalton Hayes in third, Hank Casson in fourth. He didn't have any of that trouble. It was behind him, but he did go into the pit when they had the chance. Get some new rubber. We are on lap 87, going into 88, which means we're getting close to the end there, and that's probably why he opted for tires. Robbie Helms is in fifth, Nick Hammer in sixth, MacArthur, and then Swiss in eighth, Cody Brown in ninth, Brian Edmonds in 10th, Sean Retallick dropped to 11th. He did get some of that stuff beaten out. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Woodward is still moving. He did go into the pits, and now he's trying to catch back up to the field. Hasn't spent any time on that rear end.
Green flag, green flag.
There we go. We're racing once again. It's Tanner Nowell early on the gas. He pulls away from Michael Edwards. Dalton Hayes in third with Hank Casson on his outside already. Hank already moving towards the third position there. Of course, Hank is on fresh tires. Michael Edwards and Tanner Nowell for the lead here together. Michael Edwards already fighting for that lead on the inside. Ooh, we have another yellow. Oh, that's the number 9 car that's getting in trouble. Let's see what happened. J.D. Woodward, comes up to the outside into the 10. And it looks like he hurts himself more than he does the 10. Well, yeah, he's just moving up and he's not clear. Let's bring it back one more time for you. I will say the 10's not giving him a whole lot of room. The 9 moves up and he should have known he wasn't clear. Listen, the spotter should have been telling him that. So now JD's got a car that is somewhat remodeled on front and rear. It looks like it is not his night. And we have Sean Retallick going into the pits, as is JD. Sean is in the back of the pack anyway, so he's probably thinking I might as well try to get some of that sheet metal knocked straight a little bit more. And then obviously JD will be doing... Ooh, he still had his fast repair. My golly, that is that is surprising. He still had his fast repair, so his car is going to be in good shape. And unfortunately, Retallick, his car is not, he is not that lucky. He's already used that up. So JD's got his finally used his fast repair, and he's back on his way. Not much changed up front. Tanner Nowell still in the lead with Michael Edwards in second, Hank Caston in third, and Dalton Hayes in fourth. Looks like the Hank is the only one that gained a position here since that last restart. Hammer is in fifth, Helms in sixth, Swiss in the seventh position, and then it's MacArthur. Looks like Brian Edmonds is going for pit road. Wonder if he still had that fast repair and didn't think about it. Nope. He's just getting tires and probably try to get a little bit of it knocked out again. No, he's not even waiting on the repairs. We're going to have about 20 laps to go when we get the green. And Sean is out there, but he's got some damage to deal with there. And it looks like Steve Anderson is going into the pits. And he is already down to 6 laps down, so all those yellows are definitely helping him, because every time he gets the wave around, he gains one back. That looks like a routine stop. Well, the question will be, can Tanner Nowell hang on to that lead for 20 more laps on older tires? His tires are 10 laps older, even a little bit, well, almost 10 laps older than Caston's. And Edwards changed on lap 80. Actually, Tanner Nowell's got the oldest tires in the field. He is the only one that hasn't stopped. So it'll be a challenge for him to keep that thing up to speed. Especially for another 20 laps. And it looks like we're all catching up now and getting ready to go back to racing. JD here in the back. Still on the lead lap. That is good. And as we saw, he's got that car fixed, so he might still be a factor.
Green flag, green flag.
And it looks like everybody's a little bit slow getting on the throttle there. Tanner Nowell already has Hank Gaston right behind him. Michael Edwards was a bit slow on the start there. Looks like he's dropping down to 4th or 5th already. Gaston already challenging for the lead. Oops. Ooh, I'm glad we're back, folks. That was a bit of a connection issue on my side. Oh!
The yellow flag is out.
Nick Hammer is the victim here of, I believe that was Tanner Nowell that got into him. Let's bring that back one more time. Yep, that is Tanner Nowell right behind him, touching him on the rear end and throwing him around. Ooh, and luckily everybody else misses that. Just a tap on the back end is all it takes. And I believe that it was J.D. Woodward that was really lucky getting by there. Oh, Tanner is not a happy man, obviously. He gets it back in the right direction. And he's going to head for pit road. Hopefully he still has that faster pair. I'm not sure if he does. Something is happening on the track there with Edwards and Edmonds there. Well, let's see if we can find out what this is. Ooh, Edmonds just coming on to the back of the group there, way too hot. Let's bring that back one more. There, he just not paying attention. The cars in front of him are already slowed down at pace speed. And he collects MacArthur and the 17, I believe, of Cody Brown, I believe that was. Well, those guys are all headed for pit road, obviously. Tanner on pit road, Cody, Edmonds, Helms is already leaving, Ken MacArthur is there, he's leaving. His car still looks pretty good, he's just getting new tires. I don't believe he was involved. Hammer is still there. It does look like he had a faster pair. That back end looks pretty good. Oops. Yeah, that back end looks pretty good. I think Nick is okay. Swiss now coming into the pits. Can't really tell if he's got an issue. Oh, he's got a bit of damage on the back end there. And Edmonds is back out again. And that brings Hagenkasten back in the lead. And Tanner Nowell. There must have been something else going on here as well. Let's go and see if we can bring that back. We had two of those same instances where people are just not paying attention. Tanner Nowell did the same thing to GG Swiss. That's why we saw Swiss going into the pits, and that's why we saw Tanner with a bent up front end that we didn't see after the first incident. And I'm going to stay away from the question whether this was something that could have been prevented, but I think that's just not good, guys. You got to pay attention. You know there's a yellow. You know that people are pacing at 70 miles an hour. You got to make sure you slow down in time. Well, it looks like Tanner Nowell is back in 9th position, and he can't get that car fixed again because he already used up his fast repair. And Swiss is rolling again, but he didn't have that fast repair either. Nick Hammer did. Kind of makes you wonder what's going on here between these guys. And we're on lap 99. We'll have 11 laps to go. I'm sorry, we'll have 13 laps to go when we get no. We'll have 12. We'll have 12 laps to go when we get going. We'll be going into lap 101. And that brings Dalton Hayes in a pretty good position. Sean Retallick in 3rd. Woodward That car was okay, we know that. He's back in fourth. Retallick has a car that is not as aerodynamically solid as it should be. Robbie Helms is right there. And Cody Brown. There we go, Hank Caston on the gas. Woodward staying right there behind the 47. He was also quick on the response there. Retallick in second. Dalton Hayes on the outside. J.D. Woodward getting racy there with the 10. Coming to the inside. And it's, the 47 comes down pretty hard there. Almost taking out the number 9. That is Dalton Hayes. Unaware of the 9 being low there. Hayes is hanging on to second now with Retallick that now picks back up that third spot with Swiss in fourth, Helms in fifth, and JD dropping back to the 8th position because of that. Helms now challenging the Retallick there. I'm fairly sure that Sean Retallick is suffering from that aero problem with that front end being bent up. As long as he can stay behind somebody, he should be okay, but running on his own like he is doing there, that's going to hurt him. Caston's walking away with it right now. Swiss in second with Helms now in third. The 47 of Hayes slotting in fourth. And back in the business there also is Michael Edwards in the 21. Retallick staying on his outside there with J.D. Woodward right behind him. Woodward now to the inside of Retallick. Puts him back in 6th position. And it's Swiss that's caught back up to Hank Caston. Let's see if we can bring that back for you. The 26 is catching up with Caston. Did something happen to Hank? No, not really. He just comes into the inside and takes away the lead. Caston also loses a position to Helms. Caston in fourth now even. Edwards has passed him as well. And Swiss is hanging on to that lead in front of Helms. Edwards trying to go to the inside of Helms. And of this bunch, Swiss is the only one that is not a playoffs driver. Oh, Helms gets into trouble, into the wall. Slows down because of it. That means Caston picks up third again. Woodward going by there as well. Swiss still in the lead, but Edwards is catching up with him. And Hank Caston in third. Ooh, Swiss almost into the wall. These guys are going for it. Swiss wants that win. And Edwards wants to lock himself into the next round. Closing in on Swiss now, lap 108. 5 laps to go. Oh, and it's Edwards into the wall now. These guys are running at the top of what their abilities are here. Hank Caston picks up second position. Now he gets to go after DG Swiss. Edwards hanging on to third. JD Woodward now in fourth with Helms coming back at him. Let's stay here with Caston. It looks like Edwards is keeping up with Caston fairly good. Swiss going low. Caston going low. Edwards going low. Hank is gaining. Lap 110. And it looks like Swiss has got stuff pretty good under control. Caston's gaining just a little bit, but it's not going very quick. They're going to see the white flag next time by, folks. DG Swiss is in the lead, being followed by Hank Caston. Swiss is not a playoffs driver. Hank Caston is. He wants to lock himself into that next round, but may not get the chance. Last lap, he's very close. Turn 1, turn 2. Hank Caston is right on the tail of DJ Swiss, coming to the inside on the backstretch. Swiss trying to push him down a little bit. Hank Caston on the inside. Can Swiss keep that momentum on the higher side? Oh, it's Hank Caston nosing ahead. Hank Caston's going to pick up the win and lock himself into the next round. Hank Caston wins here at Chicagoland. DG Swiss tried to hold him off, but couldn't make it happen. He got pretty close. Then Michael Edwards in third. JD Woodward finishes in fourth. And some drivers letting each other know they're not happy with each other. Robbie Helms is fifth. Nick Hammer is sixth. There might be some heated discussions after this race. That would not surprise me. Let's go check on the rest of the field. Dalton Hayes, Tanner Nowell finishes in 11th. Ritalik is 12th. And Steve Anderson is in 13th. 4 laps behind the leader. So he picked up 6 laps during this race. There you have Tanner Nowell. And let's go take a look at Caston celebrating for his victory here in Chicagoland. He is going to be locked into the next round already. And there you have it, folks. Let's bring up the results for this race. Got to check the right things here. There we have him. It's Hank Caston that brings it home in first place, picking up that lead back on the last lap. DG Swiss was not able to hold him off. His tires were about 10 laps older than Caston's. Mike Edwards brings it home in third. It's JD Woodward in fourth. Robbie Helms in a very good fifth place for him. He was in the lead there, challenging the leaders, I should say, but hit the wall on that final stretch. Nick Hammer is in sixth. Cody Brown seventh. Ken MacArthur eighth. Brian Edmonds brings it home in ninth in front of number 10 Dalton Hayes. Then the 11 is Tanner Nowell. 12th is Sean Ritalik. Unfortunately dropped back because of his damage on his car. And then Steve Anderson brings it home in 13th. 5 laps behind the leader. He picked up a bunch of laps because of the yellows that gave him wave arounds pretty much every time because no one else was a lap down. So that brought him back up a little bit, but unfortunately it was not enough to be of any influence on this race. So next time we will be going to, what was it? Can't remember. Let's check this real quick. Next time we'll be going to Bristol. And Bristol, obviously, most of you will know this, is a very short and tight track where a lot of stuff always happens. Very close racing. It's kind of a stadium-looking ordeal there. and it's totally different animal from what we have here tonight. So hopefully we'll see some good racing there as well. And that'll be the second race in the first round. So one more driver can lock himself into that final eight that will be starting with the second round of the playoffs. So Hank Caston may get some company next week if somebody locks himself in there in Bristol. That'll be a week from today, folks. Next Wednesday, same time, different place. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast here tonight. Check out our other leagues that we are following in the ticker on the screen that will come up here in a little bit. Thanks again for your attention, and stay safe out there and stay healthy.